Bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome back to the channel. It's Adeline. If you're learning French, chances are you've made a few mistakes along the way. But don't worry, it's completely normal. I make mistakes in English, but it's fine. It's a learning journey, it's a learning process. But wouldn't it be great to avoid some of the most common ones? Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you the top 10 mistakes French learners make and how you can avoid them. And if you guys are trying to learn or improve your French, the Unacademy app is a great way to do so with quick and easy lessons. Okay, are you ready? Tu es prêt? C'est parti! Let's start with one of the biggest challenges for French learners, gender. As you know, every noun in French has a gender. It's either feminine or masculine, and this can be tricky. For example, la table, the table, is feminine, but le livre, the book, is masculine. A common mistake is mixing up the articles or guessing the gender based on the English word. The best way to avoid this is to practice. You can use flashcards, and every time you are learning a new word, learn it with its article. Don't just learn table or livre. Learn la table and le livre. It will help the gender stick in your mind. The second mistake is to translate directly from English to French, because it's so tempting, right? But French and English don't always line up perfectly. For example, if you want to say I'm full, don't say je suis pleine, because in French, plein or pleine can mean pregnant or stuffed. Instead, you can say j'ai bien mangé or je n'ai plus faim, which means I am not hungry anymore. So learn phrases as they are commonly used in French, not word-to-word translations. The third mistake is about pronunciation. French pronunciation can be tricky, especially when it comes to silent letters. A lot of French words have letters that aren't pronounced. For example, if you take the verb parler, parler, to speak, you don't pronounce the last letter. You don't hear the R sound, right? A common mistake is trying to pronounce everything as it's written. The solution here is to listen to native speakers as much as possible. You can watch French movies, you can listen to podcasts, or you can use learning language applications to hear the correct pronunciation. Speaking of app, why don't you join me for my French lesson today? I'm going to use the Unacademy app. The topic for today is about clothing items. C'est is a demonstrative adjective meaning this or those. C'est. Ces fleurs sont rouges. Chaussures. Ces chaussures. Cheveux. Ces chaussures pour mon mari. Yes. Pantalon. Pants or trousers. T-shirt, pantalon, chaussures, chemise. Cheveux, c'est chemise. Non. Cheveux, c'est pantalon et les chemises. Les shorts. Shorts. Excusez-moi, je veux ces shorts. Yes, good job. Okay, I'm done and I've learned 3 new words in 35 seconds. So that was very fast and easy. You can easily do one lesson every day. Thank you guys for joining me. This was really fast. Now back to our mistakes. The next one is using the wrong verb tenses. It's easy to get confused because there are so many French verb tenses. One of the most common errors is mixing up the past tenses, like using the passé composé when you should use the imparfait. For example, if you're talking about habitual action in the past, like I used to go to the park, you should use j'allais au parc, imparfait. instead of je suis allé au parc, passé composé. The best way to avoid this mistake is to learn the context for each tense and practice with lots of examples. Next mistake is forgetting to make adjectives agree. In French, adjectives must agree in gender and number with the noun they describe. This is one rule that can be easy to forget, especially for English speakers. For example, if you want to say a beautiful woman, it's une belle femme. But if you want to say a beautiful man, it becomes un bel homme. So you have to match the adjective with the noun. The sixth mistake is all about formality. A lot of learners make the mistake of using tu all the time. But in formal settings or when talking to strangers, you should use vous. For example, when ordering in a restaurant, say est-ce que vous pouvez m'aider instead of est-ce que tu peux m'aider. It's a small change, but it shows respect and understanding of the culture. The next mistake, bear with me, we are almost at the end, I promise, is forgetting about prepositions. Prepositions can be a bit difficult, especially when they don't translate directly from English. For example, in English, we say I am good at something, but in French, we say je suis bon en quelque chose. Using the wrong preposition is a common error for beginners. The best way to get better at it is to practice using a lot of different sentences and phrases. And over time, you will start to hear which prepositions sound right. The next one is struggling with negation. Negation in French requires two parts, ne and pas. A common mistake is forgetting this little ne in the sentence. In spoken French, natives often drop it, but when you're writing or speaking formally, you should always include it. Using c'est and il est incorrectly. C'est and il est both mean it is, but they are not interchangeable. Use c'est when you're introducing something specific, like c'est un livre, it's a book, and use il est when describing something. For example, il est étudiant, he is a student. Again, with practice, it will become more natural. Speaking of practice, the last mistake is not practicing speaking enough. It's easy to focus on reading and writing, but speaking is where real fluency happens. And don't be afraid to make mistakes, it's part of the process. Find yourself a language partner, talk to yourself in French, or even record your voice to practice. The more you speak, the more comfortable you will get. Et voilà, that's it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Don't hesitate to leave any comment with questions or suggestions for future topics. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Merci beaucoup d'avoir regardé. À bientôt!